Good afternoon, Mr. Ayo Ajao, Mrs. Oluwatukesi. Good afternoon, Mr. Taiwo Ayobami, Mr. Ahmed Dako, and Mabel Idowu. I'm not sure who is using that. Okay, Mr. Ayo George, Mabel Idowu. Okay, so I'll just do a name call so that we can be sure of who we have right now. Okay, so I have Mrs. Oluwatukesi.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. We have Mr. Taiwo Akolabi of Grace Kiddies Sport.
Yeah.
Okay, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, we also have Mrs. Olatunde. Okay, I just admitted Mrs. Olatunde. We have Pastor Ame Idako. Okay, we have Pastor Ame Idako. All right, we have Mr. Ayo George with the username Ayo Billion. Okay, Angela Ayo Ajao.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. All right. I think those we don't have the Atama family. But if they join us, we'll continue. We have 7 participants right now. We have 7 participants right now. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started already. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bolanle Oduekun Ayola, and I work with Wellsradio. We are a wholesome radio. We're located right here in Ibadan, your state, Nigeria. People listen to us from all over the world, and we put out inspiring, educating programs and wholesome programs, basically for family consumption and also. I want to say thank you very much to everybody who has joined me. Thank you so much for joining. We're still expecting some people, but then we will continue irrespective of that. Now, May 27th is known in Nigeria as Children's Day. And all over the country on Children's Day, people do different things. I know for some schools they have parades, but unfortunately this year it will not be the same. Things have not been the same because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and so this year there will be no parades. The children they're not going to school, they're having online learning and so on and so forth. And so we just decided to have this forum or this quorum to talk about how COVID-19 has changed the scene of education for children, not only children, for their teachers, and for the whole world entirely. And that's why the theme of this particular quorum is making education happen with technology. Online class is not, or remote learning is not something that is the usual thing. It's not the norm, but then it's the new norm. And so, because of this, we're going to have a couple of questions. We have teachers right here, school representatives, school owners, teachers, vice principals right here, and we have parents and also children. So we're going to be starting. I'm going to be asking a couple of questions. And once again, I must say I sincerely appreciate you for making this time out to join us here at Wellsradio. And so we're going to start questions with asking questions from the school representatives we have here. And I'm going to start with Mrs. Oluwatukesi of New Spring. Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon, once again.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome.
Okay, ma.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's also a pleasure having you here. Okay, so ma, you are representing New Springs.
New Spring Group of Schools.
Okay, New Springs Group of
Schools. Yeah.
Okay, ma, we just have a couple of questions for you. Now, due to this COVID-19 pandemic, what innovation, has your school been able to implement to enable students to, continue learning seamlessly? Some of them were writing exams before this COVID-19 struck.
Right.
So what, have you been able to implement? What innovations have you been able to put in place to ensure that these children continue learning as normal?
All right. Thank you very much. This COVID-19 pandemic has been a scourge on the entire world.
True.
But in it, we've seen some good coming out of it. And one of it is this new norm in teaching and learning in the whole world, and especially in Nigeria. Because I know in other parts of the world, there's been a lot of technology, learning and teaching. But it's a new norm in Nigeria, and it's actually really welcome. And for us as a school, New Spring Group of Schools, it's been a welcome norm. And we have been able to look for ways to continue teaching and learning. And right after this pandemic struck, we had to sit down to look at how to continue teaching. And of course, it's not as if our students and our teachers have not been used to some of these technologies before. But we've now had to really bring it up to standard of international best practices. Talk about the Zoom, talk about the Google Classroom, talk about the WhatsApp. These are innovations that we as a school have been able to bring together to continue teaching and learning, and it has been fantastically effective.
Okay, Mrs. Oluwatoke, so that's a very interesting perspective. Now, you've Google Classroom, WhatsApp, and so on and so forth, even Zoom. Now, has there been training, for the teachers, because this is also a new experience for them? Has there been a sort of training for them, on how to go about this and, ensure that the quality of what they are teaching is still the same?
Yeah, actually for us as a school, we have had that, but not in this magnitude. So of course, there's been more training for the teachers, and not only the teachers, there's been training even for the parents and the students as well, because it's all new, getting it all right. And then it's been actually very effective because you have to train on how to use the WhatsApp video very well, how to connect to Zoom at the right time for everybody to be in class, how to use the Google Classroom, how to submit your questions and then return your answers. So of course, there's been ongoing training, and over time, we've had really good improvements as a school. And right now, everybody is sitting comfortably and being able to use all the technologies available. So yes, there's been training, and the training is ongoing for parents and teachers and students. But essentially, we've now had to sit back. We're resting now because everyone is on top of the game.
All right, thank you very much. Well, let me move to Mr. Taiwo Afolabi. Mr. Taiwo Afolabi of Grace Kiddies Porch. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so in light of the COVID-19 pandemic and how it is affecting children, because the theme of this quorum is making education happen with technology, do you see online learning still continuing, even after this COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, I see it continuing, but from the angle from which I'm seeing it is that it might not continue as direct as it is now, because everybody is sitting at home and they are learning from there. But they might begin to include it in terms of submitting your assignments, giving classwork and everything, so that these children can be used to it. So this COVID-19 has helped us to know that eventually, if there's any kind of going to be this kind of pandemic again, there's already a structure on ground that we can all run with. So it will be like surprise for all of us.
Very, very true. Now, Grace Kiddies Porch is a primary school.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So, how easy is this for primary school students? How easy is it for them to learn?
Well, it's not actually that easy in terms of the learning aspect, because we have to start from the lower the play group and everything. But we have tried to make it more interactive, in more of like especially for the lower class.
I must ask you
so that they can be more engaged.
Let's welcome Mrs. Olatunde, Mrs. Amarachi Olatunde of Christ Ambassadors International College. Good afternoon, ma. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you
Yes,
so
we
much
want to
for
apologize
inviting
there. I
me.
think there was a bit of difficulty in admitting you to the group, but thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Exactly.
All right, Ma. We're
Thank
going
you
to
so
ask you a
much.
couple of questions, but I was asking Mr. Taiwo Afolabi of Grace Kids Coach a couple of questions before you joined us. So let me just, ask some questions before we, come on and ask you some questions, Ma.
Okay.
All right, Ma. Mr. Taiwo Afolabi, we were talking about primary school students and how this is, easy for them.
Yeah. So, like what I was saying, we try to, because before you to make these things very effective, you must look for a way that the same way they are actually watching cartoons at home and they are able to sit down is the same way you also structure these things so that these people can learn whatever they want to learn and so that it's very effective. So we try to incorporate both using of videos, audios, and interaction with teachers even while they are teaching so that they can be engaged throughout the lesson. And that's the way the pupils can learn faster and better.
Okay, let me move on to Mrs. Amarachi Olatunde and ask a couple of questions, Ma. You are with a very prestigious, and we must welcome Mr. Shadari. Thank you so much for joining us. Mrs. Shadari, thank you so much for joining us. Mrs. Olatunde, now let me ask you a question. Now, as you've started online learning, how easy is it? What are some of the lessons that the school has been able to take home from this new form of learning?
Oh, it is quite interesting, so challenging. First, as a school, we have actually have been using technology before now. We have the e-portal, learning structure where we have conveniently in time past have our children access their notebooks, for example, their notes, online. We process results online. Some of our exams we also do online.
Wow.
And then during this pandemic, yes, apart from the e-portal, we have the interactive whiteboard as well. These have enabled us, before now, to have enhanced learning, enhanced lessons, make our lessons interactive, have flexibility in the classroom, and we're able to connect to the internet. We'll have real-time connect to the internet, using the interactive boards. But during this pandemic, we have also engaged our students, usefully using the Google Classroom app. And these have helped us to run classes from 9 in the morning, for example, on a daily basis, till about 2, in the afternoon, and the lessons have been quite beautiful and encouraging.
All right, my quick question for you, Mrs. Amarachi Olatunde. Moving on, now, how do you plan to incorporate online learning with classroom learning? I mean, virtual learning with classroom learning after the COVID-19 pandemic is over. Is there a plan to mesh it or merge it together?
We have a plan to merge it together. Just as I said earlier, we have been using having online classrooms, before now. It's just that in an enlarged capacity during this pandemic, since the real-time live classrooms are wearing on. So going forward, post-COVID-19, we,
Okay, Mrs. Olatunde, we'll have to come back to you. It seems the network on your side is a bit, it's fluctuating, so we'll have to come back to you. But let me move on to the parents. I must say once again, thank you for everybody who has joined. Mrs. Oluwatukese, Mrs. Amarachi Olatunde, Mr. Taiwo Afolabi, Pastor Ahmed Dako, also Mrs. Shiofumi Shadare, also Ayo Billions. This is Ms. Ayo George. We also have Ayo George. Okay, we have some usernames here: Ayo Billions and Mabel Idu. Okay, so let's move on to questions we have for the parents. Let's move on to questions we have for the parents, and I'm going to be starting on the angle of parents with Mrs. Shadari. Please, if you can hear me, can you just respond, Mrs. Shadari? Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. I hope you can hear me now.
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon, Mrs. Shadari.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today. We have just a couple of questions for you. Now, your child has been learning online. How effective do you think the online learning has been? Is it as effective as the classroom learning?
Oh, well, thank you for having me once again.
You're welcome.
Online learning is a new thing actually for the children. I have a child in primary 3 and I have one in JSS 3.
Okay.
For the one in primary 3, it's a new thing, very new thing to our, and I feel it's a good thing anyway. It's a good thing, like aside from the classroom, the kids technologically we are improving them. So a bit I like the on classes, but in all I feel the kids are not able to tag along for a long time. That's the only problem I have with the online class. But I love it.
All right, ma. Now let me quickly move on to Pastor Ahmed Dapo. Thank you, sir, for joining us. He's been with us, right from the beginning. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Now, this period, your son is at home. Now, what impact would you say that this online learning period or this COVID-19 period? What impact would you say it has had? Has it had on your relationship with your son, bonding with your son?
Yeah, the impact has been very positive. In the sense that I, as a person, I'm a traveler, and most times I'm not around. But this period of lockdown and having the children at home has improved, our bonding. It has afforded us the opportunity to bond more, and it has presented me the opportunity to also watch them live. The kind of lifestyle they are living, the kind of behavior they are exhibiting. Because most of the time I'm out all through the week, and maybe 2 weeks I'm not around. I come back Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By Monday, I'm off again. So it has afforded me the opportunity to see how they are living, and then to correct some of the things that needed to be corrected, and to encourage in ways that they should be encouraged. So by and large, even though it is as a result of a negative effect of the pandemic that we are all at home, but in terms of relationship with my boy, it has improved our bonding. And in this period, I've realized that my children seems to need my presence even much more than mine.
Very, very true. Thank you so much, sir. Now, just a quick question with a yes or no answer. If you're given the opportunity, would you prefer, online learning or classroom learning?
My answer cannot be straightforward yes or no, because both have their own advantages. Okay, but if assuming I must make a choice, I think I will choose classroom, because it affords them the opportunity to mix with other students, learn from other students, get challenged in other ways by their colleagues. But when it is online, they are at home alone. They live by themselves, they do things by themselves. But when they mix with their friends and they see some of their friends doing better than they are doing, they are challenged to do more. So in that area, I will prefer a classroom learning.
All right, thank you so much, Pastor Ame. But please still stay tuned, because I have a couple of questions for your son right there. But let's move on to Mr. Ayo George. I believe he's using the username of Mabel Idowu. Mr. Ayo George, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining us. Hello. We just have a couple of questions for you this afternoon. Now, moving on. As a parent, during this COVID-19 period where, we now have virtual learning, remote learning, people choose to give it different names. What lessons have you learned this period?
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
For me, the innovation is beautiful. I never for once thought there will be a time like this that parents and children will be locked down and we'll have an opportunity such as the platform to learn and to continue to learn. Google Classroom, for example, is beautiful innovation that I just got to know about as well. I never knew there was anything like Google Classroom. So for me, it has been a very interesting experience. Yeah.
All right. Now, also, let me ask you, in this period of COVID-19 and remote learning, how has your relationship been with your son? How have you have you been able to bond more? Have you been able to make the relationship better?
Yeah, my response won't be too different from the pastor's response. This period has allowed me to study my kids more. It has allowed me to bond more with them. We play games together. My son is good at chess, so we have time to do more of that. We do stuff together, take strolls, go to barb together, barb our hair. It has afforded us the opportunity to do a lot of stuff together.
So is it sufficient to say that this period of COVID-19 pandemic has made parents to take a peek into the world of the teacher?
Yeah, I believe strongly that that's the only positive side to this lockdown and the pandemic. It has afforded every parent the opportunity to stay more and bond more with their children.
All right, so we'll move on to the questions we have for the children, because we are celebrating the children. They are the celebrants of this day. Happy Children's Day. Let me first say that happy Children's Day to every child that has joined us on this Quorum. Happy Children's Day to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Of course, children are very wonderful, let me put it that way, individuals, of yourselves. You're very wonderful children. So thank you for joining us. I would start, since I have I'll start with Angela Ayajao. Good afternoon, Angela.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Children's Day.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so what has the experience of not going to school been like, Angela?
Well, it has been fun having the whole family together, but I miss school, my friends, and I wish it was over so we can go into our normal lives.
Just give me one thing that you miss about school.
My friends.
Okay, so now today's Children's Day, as regards this whole COVID-19 pandemic and everything, just give me one thing that you want either your school or the government to do for you and children all across the world concerning this pandemic. How do you think they can help you?
I would like the government to distribute palliatives such as medical treatment for the infected, electricity, and food and money for the poor and unemployed.
Wow, that's
better for others.
Okay, one last question to you, Angela. A shout out to your best teacher, to your favorite teacher.
Well, I love a favorite teacher because all my teachers are wonderful, caring, supportive. So I'm giving a shout out to all my teachers. I hope you guys are staying safe. I miss you. I miss my teachers.
All right, that's a rare thing to hear a student say, I miss my teachers. But then I guess even despite the fact that this COVID-19 pandemic is a negative thing, it does and it has its positive effects. Let's move on to Zoe Olatunde. I can see on my screen right now. Good afternoon, Zoe. Good afternoon, Zoe.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. Now, today is Children's Day. Tell us one thing that you want, the government or your school to do for you and children all over the world.
Okay, I want the government, by the grace of God, to find a cure or a vaccine that can help eradicate COVID-19 virus from Nigeria. if possible, from the world.
Wow. Okay, that's a very awesome one. Now, can you just tell us one new thing that you have learned, in this period of staying at home with your mom? I can see your mom smiling. Just give us one new thing, one new experience or a lesson that you have learned.
Okay, in times like this, I've learned that everyone needs to know God, and you need to know Him more and more. And then I'm proud to say that my relationship with God has really improved.
Very, 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 very wonderful one right there. Not just about improving your relationship with your parents, but also improving your relationship with the one who has made you, and that is God. Let's move quickly. Thank you so much, Zoe. Let's move to Daniel Oluwatukesi. Hello, Daniel.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, Daniel. How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
All right. So, how has the experience of not going to school been like for you?
It has been really boring, but I've been able to do things that normally I won't do.
Okay, things like what?
I've been able to read well. I've been able to play games and more.
Okay.
And my family members have been around, so I've been doing a lot of bonding too.
Okay, so we thank God if that's what you term as boring. We must really thank God for that. I see your mommy smiling right there. Okay, so today's Children's Day. Now tell us what you want the government or even your school or maybe your family to do for you and maybe for our children all over the world.
I would like the government to provide equipment to reduce the spreading of the COVID-19 so that students can resume and their education could continue.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Daniel. Let me move on to Angela. I've spoken with Angela. Let me move on to Melchizedek Idako. Hello, Melchizedek.
Hello.
How are you today?
Fine.
All right. So today's Children's Day. Who is your favorite teacher at school? Who is your favorite teacher at school?
All my teachers are my favorite teachers.
All your teachers are your favorite teachers. All right. So say something to your teachers today.
Good morning, teachers. How are you doing? How's everybody doing? I miss you. See you soon when we resume school.
Wow, I think this is the highlight of the whole thing. The students saying that they miss their teachers. I will. Okay, so let me ask you one more question, Melchizedek. What is one thing that you have learned during this COVID-19 period?
I have learned to care for my younger ones, help my mommy doing chores.
Wow, Okay, we can hear you. Okay. Okay, it seems there's a bit of a network issue. Thank you so much, Melchizedek. Let's quickly move on because we are pressed for time. Let's move on to Sheofumi Shadari. Hello, Sheofumi. If you can hear me, just reply and say hi. Hello, Sheofumi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, I can also hear you. How are you doing today? Seems the audio is a bit bad, but let me continue with the questions. Now, how has the experience of not going to school been like for you? You've not been going to school for a while now. How has the experience been?
It's been a bit boring.
A bit boring. How has the experience of online schooling been for you? Are you able to learn as much as you would learn in school? Okay, I'm not sure if this is the network or if Sheofumi is shy, but if it's the network. Okay, it seems it's the network. It seems there's a network issue. Let me just quickly move on to Olumide Ayo George. Hello, Olumide.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Who's your best friend at school?
My best friend at school is Crocs Obole.
He's called what?
Crocs Obole.
Okay, so just leave a message for him. Say something. What is that one thing you want to say to him?
I want to say that he should stay safe and stay well.
To stay safe and stay well. Tell me one thing you have learned at home in this period.
I have learned how to protect my chess playing skills.
Wow, your chess playing skills. That's a wonderful one. Today's Children's Day. Is there anything you want your teachers, your school, or even the government to do for you and for other children around the world?
I want the government to open COVID-19 pandemic kiosks with packages like face masks, hand sanitizers, and gloves.
That's a very wonderful one. That's a very wonderful one. Thank you so much for joining us today. I think we're pressed for time, so this is where we'll have to wrap it up. Thank you so much for a very interactive and interesting forum. But before we wrap it up, let's quickly do something that I always like to do every time I have the opportunity to talk to children, parents, and their teachers. Let's just say a quick, short word of prayer for children all over the world. Our Heavenly Father, we say thank you so much because in as much as this season seems to be a negative one, but then we see that positive lessons have been learned. Father, we thank you because our children are safe and sound. We thank you because our children are good children. We thank you so much, Lord. And Father, we pray for children all over the world. We ask, oh Lord, that you will help them to know you. You will help them to continue to be good children, to continue to be obedient children. We'll also pray for the parents and the teachers that you will continue to strengthen them. We ask, oh Lord, that you continue to give them the wisdom to be able to bring up these children to be good children, to be who you want them to be. And we pray for the world at large. We ask, oh Lord, that you will give us the wisdom, the strength. We ask, oh Lord, that you will help us to overcome this COVID-19 pandemic. For in Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen.
I'm just going to ask for final words. Please don't end. I'm just going to ask for final words from everybody. Just one last word. Today's Children's Day, so just say something as we wrap this up. We'll start with the teachers. Let's start with Mrs. Oluwatikesi.
Today is Children's Day, and our prayer is that the Lord will keep our children. And the Lord will help us show them the right way to go, to teach them right and make the world a better place. May the Lord bless the children of the world and bless parents and everyone.
Amen. Okay, let me move to you, Stephen Oluwatikesi. Let me move to you. Just say a brief word for children. Today's Children's Day. So just say something.
Happy Children's Day, and I want all of you to stay safe and thank God.
All right, Zoe, let me hear something from you for children all over the world.
Okay, happy Children's Day, everyone, and I hope that everybody will overcome this COVID-19 pandemic.
Amen.
And will all come out safe and sound. Amen.
Amen. Okay, Shewufumi Shadari, let me hear something from you. Today's Children's Day. A quick word for children all over the world. Shewufumi Shadari. Okay, it seems that the network is bad over there, but let me hear from Anjola Ayoajao. A quick word for children all over the world.
Happy Children's Day, and guys should stay safe, and God bless all of us.
Amen. Okay, Melchizedek, let me hear something from you for children all over the world. Today's Children's Day.
Happy Children's Day, everyone. Stay safe. We'll see you when we resume school.
All right, definitely. School will resume, don't worry. Olumide Ayo George, let me hear something from you. Today's Children's Day. Say something to children all over the world.
I just want to say that all children should stay safe as well as I'm staying safe. Schools resume.
All right, thank you so much. I believe I've covered everyone. Thank you so much for or the children. Now let's quickly move to the parents, okay, so that we can just hear one or two from them. Pastor Ahmed Dafo, thank you so much. He was the first person to join this forum. Thank you for joining us, sir. So let's just hear something from today's children say. That's a word to the children.
All right, children, keep growing, keep loving God, keep obeying your parents, and keep studying your books.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
Happy Children's Day.
Mrs. Olakwe, let's hear a final word from you for children. Today's Children's Day.
Children's Day to all of you children all over the world. And I pray that the Lord will keep you strong and safe. And very, very soon, I'm trusting God will resume back to school.
All right. Let's also hear from Mr. Ayo George. Today's Children's Day, a quick word for the children.
I want to say a happy Children's Day to all the children across the world. And I pray that you keep being good children to your parents, to your community, and to society at large.
All right, thank you so much. And finally, Mr. Taiwa Folabi, a quick word from you to children all over the world.
Yeah, I want to say happy Children's Day to everyone around the world, and that this pandemic will soon be over. I also want them to cooperate with their parents during the online classes. I know it can be difficult.
Very true. It does seem like it can be difficult, to join. And yes, as a quick one for Children's Day at Wellsradio here, for every child who is connected, to this quorum, if you can, please, stop at Wellsradio. Stop by at Wellsradio between Monday and Friday between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to pick up a little something that we have for you in the spirit of Children's Day. So please stop by anytime, ask to see the administrator, and pick up the little gift that we have for you. Thank you so much for joining everyone on this forum today. And yes, I must say that you can follow us on Wellsradio, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram handles. We're at Wellsradio. We're also on YouTube at Wellsradio, so please follow and like us up. Thank you so much, teachers, parents, and children, for joining us. I must say, happy Children's Day. My name is Bolani Ayola. Bye.
Bye. That's my student.